Hey, Nick, thanks so much for being on the podcast today. I've been really looking forward to talking with you.
What a wonderful thing that you're doing, Ben. I love being interviewed by especially people I know. So yeah, I feel honoured to be here, and thank you for interviewing me.
Yeah, likewise, and I appreciate you taking the time. It's awesome, and I think you've got some awesome value to add to our community. But first question, as always on the show, is could you tell me about your family?
Yes, I can. So I'm a 39-year-old father and business owner from North Brisbane. In my immediate family, I've got my wife, Gerwin, who's 4 years younger than me. She's a lawyer. We have two children. We have our son, James, who is about 4.5 at the time of recording, and our daughter, Ava, who's a bit older than 2. And I'll also include my mother-in-law. Her name's Wendy, because she spends a lot of time with us and with the kids. So that's
Awesome.
our immediate circle, Ben.
Cool. And what do you like to do as a family together?
Yeah, I think in terms of what we like to do as a family, like life is just so busy at this stage with
Mm.
my businesses and my wife getting back to 5 days a week work. I think that like we enjoy spending time together at home. We've got a pool. We like going in the pool. Yeah, we especially like summer because there's so many nice things you can do around here. We live in a beautiful suburb called Shorncliffe. So just, going to the park and going to local events. My wife and I like going out together when we can, but we don't get a chance to do it that often.
Mm.
And I suppose one thing that COVID's really taught us is, yeah, we do enjoy holidays. They've had to be domestic recently. We had one trip this year to Adelaide, which was really good. And we've got this dream destination that we've been to in Fiji back in 2018, Ben, and
Yeah.
and we're dead keen to get back to there.
Yeah. You happy sharing where that is
Yeah,
in Fiji?
it's called Vomo Island. It's just
Ah,
this amazing resort. You snorkel, you get great food cooked for you. They have baby butlers. This is a bit of a promo for Vomo, isn't it, really? So, yeah, you should go there. Take the family.
so hang on, butlers for kids.
Yep. So basically, like up to 10 hours of babysitting a day. It's a dream.
That is amazing. And is that near Nadi?
Yeah, so you fly into Nandi, and then it's about a 90-minute boat trip or a 10-minute helicopter trip. So the first time we went there, Ben, we did the boat, and my
Yeah.
commitment when we go back is we're going to do the helicopter. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it'll be
Good.
fun.
Yeah. No, there you go. And I think we got a hint at the next question before, but what do you and Gerwin like to do to sort of build your relationship or maintain a healthy relationship?
Yeah, so I think again the stage of life that we're in, like it's been a challenging couple of years since Ava was born.
Mm.
Gerwin's had a lot of sleeplessness because of the kids, and she's been lacking energy at times. Like sometimes someone will look after the kids, and we get to go somewhere, especially for lunch. Like
Mm.
by dinner time, she's pretty cooked,
Mm.
so we'll try and go for lunch somewhere. She took me to this beautiful place at Manly last week called the Boathouse,
Awesome.
and it was stunning. So yeah, probably quite simple things, to be honest, Ben. It's just going out
Yeah.
as a couple, which is, yeah, it's so different after having children than
Mm.
before. It really is.
No, awesome, awesome. And I know for me, this was sort of challenging when the kids were really, really young, like sort of not even one or very early ones. But as a dad, how do you build relationships with each of your children?
Yeah, so I've put a lot of focus on this, and I'm definitely not a perfect father, and I'm only a few years into the journey, so I'm still learning. But for me, it's all about time. And growing up, we grew up pretty poor, and I was one of 4 boys, so we didn't get a lot of time with our dad, and he was working.
Mm.
So I'm pretty lucky. I don't have to go into work Wednesdays and Fridays, and I can change that over time. And so the situation is like right now, I get to spend Wednesdays and Fridays with my kids. Like our son's
Mm.
old enough to be in kindy, and our daughter doesn't have to go to kindy on those days, and we can spend time together. Take her to the park. I take him to swimming lessons to help him learn how to swim properly. sometimes I just take them with me based on what I'm doing. They've been to a couple of business meetings and such, which has been really good. So yeah, I just enjoy spending time with them in their environment or mine, Ben. So yeah, that's about it.
How good. Great tip. And yeah, awesome flexibility with the Wednesdays and Fridays. And I think we'll sort of get to that as we talk through. But my first question around sort of the career or business side of things is, can you take us through your career journey as a physio?
Yeah, so I was at school in Toowoomba in the late 90s, and I actually really wanted to do medicine, but it was too hard to get into, and I'm quite pragmatic. So it's like, I wanted a career where I was helping people, but I had a job after a 4-year degree. Chose physio. Quite like the degree. I got jaded by some areas of it, but I didn't even really know at the time that I enjoyed business. And as I went through physio, I thought, well, how am I going to apply this? I knew that I didn't want to work in a hospital because it was a fairly hierarchical environment where you didn't have a lot of control over what you were doing. And that really helped me decide that my only real option, Ben, I was pretty fenced in at the end of 4 years of study, was to go into private practice physiotherapy. So working in a private clinic, seeing private paying clients, a small business, a cottage type business, because there weren't many very big businesses doing that at the time.
There you go. And so you started working for someone, and then
no,
you went straight into running a.
I was crazy, mate. So I'll tell you the story. It's a good one. Jeez. So I'll tell the funny bit. So in the final year of university, you probably can't see me on this, but I'm just a regular looking bloke. I had very long straight hair, and I had a bet with my friends I wouldn't cut my hair all year. I had this horrible long hair that looked like Kurt Cobain. And on my last day of the bet, I had a job interview at a hospital, and I knew I didn't want the job, Ben. And my biggest thought process was, should I get a haircut? Should I not? And I ended up chopping off my hair for the interview. The interview went terribly. I didn't get the job. And then I was at uni the next day, and there was a flyer on one of the notice boards, and it said practice for sale Scarborough, and it was dirt cheap. And I'm like, bugger it, I'll just go for a drive up to Scarborough. Met the owner. There was 5 people that wanted the clinic. She chose me. And we'll tell you the rest very soon. So yeah, first business at age of 21, bought on a credit card.
I didn't even know that. That's.
I enjoyed telling you that.
That is jaw-dropping. Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty stupid. It was pretty stupid at the time. Everyone told me not to do it, bar one person who was my dad. So wow. Maybe I just did it to put a bit of steam up them, and just say, hey, look what I can do.
Jeez. Okay. So, so how big was the clinic at the time?
It was one lady who had a room and like one bed in the room. And I was buying a very small caseload. So she worked there 2 half days a week.
Yep.
So yeah, she might have been seeing 10 patients a week because she wanted to go and lecture at the uni that I graduated from.
Yeah.
So we effectively swapped. Not that I was a lecturer, but she went to UQ, the Uni of Queensland, and I built a practice up to 5 days a week pretty quick, like in about 3 months.
Yeah, wow.
Because it was in a medical centre. So, those early days in business were easy. You're just nice to the doctors and the staff, and they sent you patients.
Yep. Yeah, cool. Okay. And what year was that? Just to give some perspective.
2004.
Okay.
So I was 21. I had no idea what I was doing. And what I realized the further into that journey, Ben, is I'd bought myself a job. Didn't buy a business. I bought a caseload of clients with very low overheads and a room. But it was a job. It wasn't a business.
Yeah. Okay. And so so we're 17 years later. Is that roughly? That's what we are now. What does Scarborough Physio look like now?
Yeah, so we're in our 3rd iteration. So from that small clinic, we were there 5 years. We went to our own first standalone clinic, which had only 2 rooms, or 3 rooms, sorry. Now we're in a waterfront clinic that I own the building. It's got 10 rooms. It's got a small gym area. We have a team of 19 at the minute. We offer, our core service is private practice physiotherapy, we have acupuncture, we have Pilates, we have remedial massage. In the last year, to cope with COVID-related demand from our clients, Ben, we've added clinical psychology, and that's going to be a huge part of our growth over the next 3 years or so, because we've seen how much our clients are struggling during COVID from a mental health perspective. So yeah, it's a wonderful business. We track how many people we've helped in our region. We've helped around 18,000 individuals.
Wow.
And our vision is to help every person on the Redcliffe Peninsula, which is 60,000. So yeah, we're almost a third of the way there.
Geez. And what were some of the sort of key things that helped grow the business? Maybe not sort of, you touched on the sort of recent one of the clinical psychologists, but along the way, what are like 2 or 3 like massive?
Oh, okay. So many people have been in business quite some time, know that the biggest thing that helps you grow is something that you've stuffed up very badly. So my first one of those, Ben, was I was convinced to invest with a little company called Storm Financial just before the GFC in 2007. And I used to think that the way to wealth and freedom was buying lots of properties, because that's what people did in the early 2000s. I invested with Storm. The stock market got too hot. I lost almost basically my life savings at the time, which was a reasonable amount. And that was the first key moment for me. And what happened there, Ben, is it kicked my ass that I needed to learn about business. I had this business, and those of you who've read The E-Myth by Michael Gerber, I was the technician. I was working a job, not a business. So that was the first real sliding doors moment for me, Ben, was lost all my money. I thought property, no good. Shares, no good. I better learn how to do business. Not that those asset classes were no good, but that I didn't feel like I was succeeding with them. So that happened in 2007 and 8. And so, I started learning about business, slowly growing the business. And I'd say my second big moment was end of 2014, start of 2015, where I had started to hire people, and I think my team was about 5 or 6 at the time. And I thought I was awesome. And the only reason I thought I was a great boss is because no one had left. And then almost all of them left in 6 months. And that happens sometimes. So I think we lost about 2/3 of our team in a 6-month period. And that really kicked my ass, because what that did to me is it taught me that I actually wasn't a very good boss.
Wow.
I was a micromanager. I was spending all my time treating my clients and not spending time with my team. And that was a huge learning. And since then, it's really helped me develop structure and strategy to how I lead people. It's helped me to learn and implement a lot about my own self and my leadership style, what team members want, how to inspire them, how to have tough conversations with them, etc. And I now feel like my biggest role at work is to help my team members not only achieve their goals and dreams, Ben, but also things that they never even thought were possible in their life. And that's a huge focus of what we do at our clinic and in my other business that we'll talk about later.
Yeah, wow. And I mean, you don't have to mention names, but what are some examples of helping those team members achieve goals beyond what they could imagine?
Yeah, I'd say so I've got the most amazing practice manager, and I will mention name. Her name's Ruth Willett. Ruth is just the most incredible person, and I'm very lucky to have her with me. And she's been with us at the business almost exactly 5 years. And Ruth was a person who was capable beyond belief, but she didn't think she was. And for her, things like in the last few years, she's now a profit sharing partner in this business, which is she gets a share of revenue or profit at the end of a financial year. She has a regular roster day off. And about 6 months ago, she started her own business. So I give her a day off a week to work on her own business. Probably the biggest thing for Ruth is in the middle of the year, she took 4 weeks off with her husband, and they drove through the centre of Australia. And for that month, literally no one from work contacted her to ask her how to do anything. And that was a huge deal for us. It let us know that our business was in a really solid place, and the freedom it gave her. So the people in my workplace, Ben, like I aspire for everyone to own their own home.
Yep.
And that's not me asking that for them. That's because they want to. And we've had 3 team members buy their own homes. And as many of your listeners would know, that's not a small feat in this day and age in Australia.
Yep.
And we've got a couple saving for their own homes. We've got people who take rostered days off to do things with their families. We've got people who are continuing to train themselves in their special areas of interest to become practitioners of choice in our community. And yeah, we work together as a team through the year, and we have a particular personal development and goal setting rhythm that we execute to help team members to achieve their goals and dreams, facilitated by the leaders in the clinic. So I call this a non-clinical mentoring rhythm in our business, and it's a game changer. And what it gives for our business is our people perform well. Anyone who's not a fit gets off the bus. We're growing together, although we grow at different rates. And in the last year and a half, this rhythm, Ben, really helps people to understand, if not overcome, some of the big challenges that are happening in their personal lives. And those of us who are employers on here, this is what we're going to have to face in the next couple of years, is helping our people grow through their personal challenges. Some are related to COVID and some are not.
Really huge. And one of those things stood out to me is the RDOs. Now, that's not driven by sort of Fair Work or award. That's a choice that you've done for people. Is that right?
Yeah, like part of remember how I said the second area of my growth was losing 2/3 of my team. I started to think and working with the team, like, what is the perfect job? So in the perfect job, you have autonomy, you're allowed to master your profession, you have freedom within boundaries, people want a good salary, they want to be rewarded when they work harder, they want lifestyle. I started to think, like, how do I create jobs for my team where they literally do have it all? And don't get me wrong, they have to work hard for it, Ben. So in our business, we do have a culture of hard work. If someone's a low performer, should they be entitled to all those things? I don't really know. But yeah, that's what I believe, Ben, strongly.
Yeah, how good. No, I love that RDO, and something we've actually implemented over the last few months is this thing called rec leave.
Yes.
Or recreational leave, kind of similar to an RDO. But if people have unused sick leave, and some people are just troopers, they'll work through even though they should be resting. But especially the people who've been there a long time, they've got massive sick leave balances. They'll probably never use it.
Yes.
And so I decided to bring in this policy where they can cash in a day a month of whatever they want to do, and instead of using annual leave for that, they can just take it off the sick leave balance.
Wow, how good is that? That's brilliant, mate. This is the type of stuff that's going to keep our people happy and may even prevent some people from developing mental health issues over the next couple of years.
Yeah. And funnily enough, some of the people, not that they demanded it or anything. I sort of just said, "Oh, what do you think about this?" The ones who'd been there a while sort of said, "Oh yeah, I feel like I put myself through, fair amount of." Push through mentally, and I actually think that'd be a great mental health break, and more, instead of like damage control from a mental health aspect, taking a day off, it's more of that preventative or winding down a little bit.
And I think the really good bosses, Ben, that's what they do is we can foresee some of the problems and challenges faced by our teams before they happen. And you're absolutely right that if you're talking about the pure bottom line of a business, to stop someone getting sick is better than having to deal with when they are sick. And, not that our motivations are purely driven by profit, but I think, if the motivations are win-win for the team and you and the business, and then they're the best decisions, aren't they?
Yep. Yeah. And I think there'll be some business owners who might think, "Oh, geez, you're just giving them money that they're not necessarily entitled to." But I appreciate sharing a perspective with you of actually it is commercially beneficial to the business if they are high performing, they love what they're doing, they feel rewarded. It's
I think that's a really good caveat to make on it, Ben, is that these rewards are for high performance and loyalty. Like, the person who comes in on the first day, they're not going to get that. If they've been with you 5 years and pushed through and helped you through the hard times, I think they're eligible for this every day of the week.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and by the way, we do have prerequisites for anyone listening. Yeah, there's. I think just the sort of big ones are you must have at least 10 days in the bank, so
Yes.
that's a year's worth of leave. So year plus, you get it, and that assumes you haven't used it yet. So
Yes. Yeah,
yeah,
there's rules around it. And I agree. Like I think that it's really important to incentivize and reward people, but yeah, like the right people.
yep, absolutely. Really cool. And so you've got Scarborough Physio. What are the other businesses that you've got going on at the moment?
Yeah. So after about 12 years in Scarborough Physio, so coming around to about 2015, 2016, I had learnt so much about business and I'd applied a good amount of it. And I started to feel like there was an opportunity for me to be helping other business owners.
Mm.
And so I started a Facebook group. I didn't really know at the time whether it was for physiotherapists or for business owners. And I started talking to people. I started filming 1 or 2 videos a day. And what I noticed, Ben, this was in about December 2016, is
Mm.
that 90% of the interest was from the owners. And it made me think, okay, well, I'm responding to my audience and I am an owner. I was effectively talking to the other versions of me out there.
Yep.
Now, our profession for many years, Ben, has been very segmented with lots of tiny businesses.
Mm.
And, the Business Ultimate Physio has been around for 5 years now, as of next month. We're a Facebook group of more than 1,500 Australian-based physio clinic owners, which is more than 1 in every 5 owners in Australia, and that's including the older ones who aren't that tech savvy.
Wow.
So we've got a huge community. Ultimate Physio's vision is to give clinic owners time, profit, and freedom in their lives, because that's what I've been able to do for myself. So
Mm.
it's basically me working with other people who are where I was to help to get them where our clinic is and our business is.
Mm.
And not just to get to the result, but to enjoy the journey. So our Facebook group, Ben, is extremely active. We would
Yep.
have maybe 100 comments a day and 10
Wow.
posts a day. And we discuss all things, even taboo topics like, money and hiring and firing and,
Mm.
challenges due to COVID. It's just the most wonderful business. And I have products that go along with that. So I've written 2 books. One's for physiotherapists in private practice, one's for physio clinic owners.
Yep.
So most of our clients come via the Facebook group. They are a fly on the wall for a while, and then they get involved, and
Mm.
then they buy the books. I've got a couple of online courses, but my flagship course is a 9-month program, and it has 5 modules. So
Yep.
we learn about clinic owner mindset, which is who you are, what you want, what's stopping you getting what you want, and how to get it.
Mm.
We learn about business strategy. So we learn about interpreting numbers. We learn about people and where people should sit in an org chart. We do a business plan, and we talk about profit levers.
Mm.
And then the other 3 modules are marketing, team, and systems. So it sounds very familiar. It sounds like a program that you and I did in Brisbane many years ago called Key Person of Influence with the company now known as Dent, which was a life-changing program for me. So
Mm.
basically, I've modelled Dent's structure as I've been coached by one of the founders of Dent, Mike Reed. And
Magic Mike, I call
Magic
him.
Mike, he is magic. He helped me to break through a few blocks around me not perceiving that I had enough value in my intellectual property, and Mike has
Wow.
helped me restructure that. So as of this year, Ben, I've helped 55 owners through that program.
Mm.
So I do one of these programs every year with 20 to 24 owners,
Mm.
and some of them get incredible results. Like a couple of my most long-term clients have more than doubled their businesses, and one of them hasn't worked for 9 months after having a baby. We
Wow.
got some really wonderful results. And the thing that drives me the most is these people getting freedom and what freedom looks like to them. So
Yeah, which is different for everyone, right?
exactly, and
Yeah.
the course is about them determining what that looks like for them. Like I've got a couple of men that I've coached, and one of them's been around Australia in his caravan with his family for 4 months, and one of them's going for a whole year. And a couple of female owners who've had kids and not had to go back to work so soon. You know, it just makes me very proud to see what they've achieved, Ben.
That sounds super fulfilling.
Oh, it's brilliant, and we become friends with the owners too. So like most of the courses live, even during COVID, we've been able to meet up live, and we have so much in common. And you know, it's amazing having these conversations with people and loving the conversations and helping them learn and seeing the results they get, and they're paying you for it. So it's like I can't see the downside.
Yeah, everyone wins in that, even the flow on for their families, their team.
Oh, yeah, I think
clients.
I agree. I think that their families are often very supportive of them getting involved in the program because they see the pain they're in, and the families, you know, we get to know the families, and I know a lot of the partners, and I've met a lot of their kids. I've met a lot of their teams, Ben. You know, same philosophy when we're dealing with my clients' teams, is that achieving their goals and dreams and things they didn't think were possible. Yeah, it's having a wonderful flow-on effect. And you know, you've made me think about one of my original plans was I wanted to help 1 million people.
Yeah.
And I realized that in my physio clinic, I couldn't do it. You know,
yeah,
these hands can only do so much, Ben. They get pretty sore. So yeah, our clinics helped 18,000. And it's like, if I can help these other clinics and they've all got 18,000 people, and we'll get to the 1 million pretty quickly.
Absolutely. Geez, the numbers add up pretty quick.
They do.
Yeah, awesome, mate. That's huge. And so a couple of questions have popped out of that. So you mentioned earlier that you don't necessarily work Wednesday, Fridays, but you've got to run Scarborough Physio and Ultimate Physio. What do you focus on which day, or do you have a plan, or do you not work in?
Yeah, I still don't think I've mastered this. It's been a work in progress. So like Scarborough Physio, the big focus the last 2 years has been creating a leadership team and making sure the roles in the business are taken care of by my top people, my leaders. There are some things that still fall to me, like I do the bulk of the hiring and decision making there. You know, big COVID decisions I have to make because I don't want those guys to feel like it's their job. I go into the clinic on a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and I still treat clients about 5 hours a week. I reduce that as often as I can because I've got a really good team. I reckon I'm probably working around 20 to 25 hours a week, of which 2/3 would be Scarborough Physio, 1/3 Ultimate Physio.
Yeah.
I do a bit of Ultimate Physio at home. So like I'm doing this podcast with you at home, and I would say that works sometimes and it doesn't work other times. So I still don't feel like I've found the perfect balance with that. Although it does feel like freedom to me, Ben, to be able to not have to be in the office all day, every day. Because, you know, in my first few years, I probably did 60 to 70-hour weeks in my clinic. And for me, freedom, I was just saying to my clients the other day, freedom is not waking up to an alarm. I don't have to wake up to an alarm anymore. Don't have to wear a watch most days. Yeah, for me, that's freedom.
So good. And one thing, you know, because we've been working together for, my guess, is sort of 5-ish years.
I reckon 5 years. Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day.
Yeah, I said I always appreciate your mindset and the way you think, and it just massive admiration for that, mate. It's cool.
Thank you, Ben, and vice versa. You're our business's third and final accountant, and you're definitely our accountant 3.0. Like, you know, what you guys do is just so far above the others that I've been with, and the other testament to you is a huge number of our Ultimate Physio clients are coming over to you guys as well, which I'm loving, absolutely loving.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Very cool. And my other question through what you were sharing there, working at the age of Ultimate Physio and your children, sounded like you started Ultimate Physio around the time that you had your son.
Yep.
Or around, give or take 6 to 12 months.
Yes.
how did it go starting a second business, having young kids? Yeah.
Okay, so I reckon Geraldine was pregnant when I started Ultimate Physio.
Yep.
And I think that at the time, like I'd been through my toughest years in business. I would call 2015 and 2016 my toughest years. That was our lowest profit. I was doing the most hours. We'd grown reasonably, but with our team turnover, many factors that added up meant that we were in a very low profit stage, which, you know, some owners will contract at that stage, Ben.
Yep.
And I think the thing that was really driving me is I knew that after our son was born, something needed to change in my life. And the big thing that needed to change for me was the amount of time that I was spending at work. And like many business owners, I wasn't necessarily productive 100% of the time when I was at work, Ben. Like as I said, I was doing too much of the technician work in the business. I was fighting a lot of fires. And I think that I was doing this because I had this warped mentality that no one could do it as good as me. And having kids accelerated my business owner journey. Having James, I wanted to spend time with him. I didn't want to have the same challenges that my parents had, being, you know, too busy and not enough money and, you know, time spread too thin. So I would say that my wife getting pregnant and having our son was the biggest game changer for me in business, because it made me strip all the stuff out of my life that was wasting my time, that was inefficient. And it made me more driven to find the best people and help them grow so they could take on a lot of the stuff I needed them to do. And yeah, I still think it's probably the most important thing that's happened to me in my life and my business.
Yeah. How good. And so what's the plan for you from here? So you've got the two businesses running pretty, I would suggest that your working hours is actually pretty great. But what's the plan for you?
Yeah, I love that question because it makes me think. So first plan, we don't really intend to have any more kids. We've been through a pretty tough time. Like my wife really struggled last year with her energy levels, and our daughter not sleeping. She doesn't need much sleep. And it was COVID last year, so we didn't get to do much fun stuff. And I just thought, you know, 2 kids is probably enough for us. So firstly, we're probably not going to have any more kids. Like, play this back to me in 10 years and let's see if I was telling the truth or not. So business, Scarborough Physio is continuing. I'm actually quite a conservative business owner. Scarborough Physio grows slowly. We've got room for a couple more team. 1 more experienced physio and 1 more clinical psychologist. And then I'm actually opening a new clinic just down the road from Scarborough. Current date of opening is around August 2022. It's going to be called Newport Physio and Health. So Newport's the next suburb from Scarborough. And my main motivation for doing that, Ben, is that our clinic is full, our rooms are full, and there's still so many good people that I want to hire. So I just want to keep building our team and providing this service for the community and working towards helping every person in Redcliffe. So that clinic will open. I won't be a physiotherapist there. I'll just be the owner. We're going to hire some great people, and we're going to integrate these 2 businesses. We're going to grow the second business to 2 physios and 2 clinical psychologists within 2 years. And yeah, I suppose my goal with the businesses is to empower the leaders in the business, and for me to steer the businesses through COVID, whatever that looks like, because you and I are in Queensland, and next year is probably going to be our challenging year, 2022. We'll see what that looks like. So my intention is to just continue to reduce Scarborough's reliance on me by building the leaders, grow Newport with just Newport's going to be a great test for me because I teach a lot of other owners how to grow businesses. So I'm going to see what I'm made of. And
from scratch,
yeah. And Ultimate Physio, I just want to work with another 20 to 24 dedicated owners for the next couple of years. I think I might run my Ultimate Physio course in New Zealand in 2023 because we've started to coach some New Zealand clinic owners.
Wow.
And mate, I wouldn't mind taking some nice holidays next year. So Vomo Island, maybe a ski trip to Japan, you know, quite a few domestic trips. I've promised Ben, my Ultimate Physio followers, the clinic owners, up and party in every capital city next year. So, but the party's got to be based on COVID being over. So I don't know if it'll be next year. It might be the year after.
Yeah, I think we'll see some of the restrictions dialed back hopefully in the next few months.
Yeah,
But,
I hope so. So that's my next couple of years. So yeah, I love spending time with my family. I love the challenge of business and what that means about, you know, finding and growing leaders and just being visionary. And apart from that, I've only got one thing I'd really call a hobby, Ben, which is boxing. I love boxing with my boxing trainer. He's a very dangerous man, so I'm going to keep upskilling myself with boxing and mixed martial arts and grappling.
How good. I better watch out next time we have a meeting.
Oh no, I'll be protecting you from society's evils, mate. So
Good. Awesome. Hey, this question is a little bit from me, but I also have other clients who I've noticed they kind of build a business in whatever field that they're a specialist in. And then I've seen some of them, and I've also got the itch to sort of help other, in my case, accountants, build their businesses as well. You've done that in the physio space. And you said you did some work with Mike around that. What sort of words of encouragement, if someone's sort of feeling that they might want to start coaching the industry they're in, what are the sort of steps into that or things?
okay, that is a brilliant question, and I'm trying to think back to when I started this journey. So I had done reasonably well in my business, but our business was by no means the flagship physio clinic in Australia at the time. I think what I started to do is I felt like I had something to say. But even at the start, when I felt like I had something to say, Ben, I didn't think anyone would want to hear it, or I didn't necessarily think anyone was listening. So I just started talking. I
Yep.
started shooting live videos on Facebook. Yeah, I was quite self-conscious of the time. I'm thinking, does any of this even matter, or do people want to hear what I'm saying? And they started watching and they started following. And it was when they started to engage that I knew I was onto something. It's when they started to ask questions or make comments. And the biggest thing that I'd encourage you guys to do if you're early in this journey, if you're thinking about doing it, is the success of this type of business, which I call an intellectual property business, is based around your community. So whether it's a Facebook group or some other type of community, and we've been taught this so much by KPI, haven't we, Ben, that you have to talk to your potential clients. You have to understand their problems. And I've got Glenn Carlson's voice ringing in my ears. You need a PhD in your customers' problems.
Yeah.
Not literally, but yeah, because that scared me. I was thinking about doing one at one stage, but too hard. You need to understand what your ideal clients are going through. And I think the biggest realization for me is that my ideal client was me.
That's cool.
And you don't need to overcomplicate this. Like if you're an accountant, Ben, and you want to talk to accountants, if you're an engineer and you want to talk to engineers, you know, you have the most credibility based on what you've done.
Yep.
And that's why I love this business, because I'm just talking to other people like me. I don't need to pretend. I don't need to be someone else. I don't need to big note myself, but I can be vulnerable and I can be honest. And these people, you know, like, and trust me and buy from me because they're like me. So find your community, build your community, talk to them, ask them questions, and they're probably, you know, like you. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, awesome. And you mentioned to sort of just start talking. Were you doing sort of Facebook video? Was it videos on Facebook just on your profile page, or did you have a group of physios
So
that you?
I started the group before I started the page, would you believe? And like I might have had a couple of people join the group. I remember sharing a link come and join my group in like the industry association page, and a few people joined. You know, I started to get a following. So even when my group was only like 5 people, I still spoke to them. And that can be a self-consciousness thing, because a lot of people say, oh, well, if I'm talking to one person, you have to start somewhere, okay? Like, don't believe you got to build the group to 1,000. Like, I reckon a critical mass, if it's 50 good people, Ben, that's enough to start with. And whatever you do, don't just go and recruit people who aren't ideal for the vanity numbers. Like I remember that was big on Facebook and Twitter and, oh, let's buy followers. What a load of crap. You know, you want your followers to be genuine people who exist, who are like you. And then it will work. Like if you're not genuine about who your followers are, if you're after numbers, not quality, it's all about quality with your followers, Ben.
Yeah. Wow. That's powerful. How good. And so your Facebook group has a few different ways that they could interact with you. Yes, there's the public forum that is the Facebook group and the videos you might post there. You've got the 2 books, you've got a signature program, and are there the online courses as well. Well, that's an awesome menu of assistance you're providing.
Yeah, I think I've built it for the market. So the good thing is people come along, and when you have great knowledge of your market, what you can do, Ben, is you can give them a fairly unbiased recommendation. So like someone comes along and they say, I need some help. Yeah. And what I say is, well, tell me a bit about your business. And I ask them specific questions and they tell me. And from there, just like if you're seeing the physios in my clinic, they will give you a recommendation based on the best interests of you, as opposed to some ulterior motive. Like my 9-month program, if your clinic is not of a certain size, you can't do it. I will not let you into it because I know that it won't be the best thing for you. I have other products that I will offer you that are more suitable. And I think when you have a suite of products, or what, you know, Key Person of Influence calls an ecosystem or an ascending transaction model, you can't really go wrong because the sales process is so genuine based on their need.
Yep. That is a great point, mate. Thank you for so much knowledge there. Well, hey, thanks so much again for sharing on all these sort of different topics. I knew it'd be
great, Ben.
Yeah, I knew it'd be a great conversation. And so, how do people get in touch with you? Like, where's the sort of best places to go?
I'm happy to help. If you so the people I can help the most is obviously physio clinic owners, but you know, any business owners or physiotherapists or allied health professionals. Like, they're probably the people I want to help. If you don't fulfill those categories, I can still try and help you. It just depends if you think I've got something to offer you. So the best website to check me out personally is www.ultimate.physio. And so that's the website of Ultimate Physio, one of my businesses. And the best way to reach me personally would be through my email address, which is nick, N-I-C-K, @ultimatephysio.com.au. So Ultimate Physio, all one word. And yeah, I'm happy for you to contact me about anything. As I said, I'm not sure exactly based on your needs what I can help you with, but I love helping people, Ben. So yeah, get in touch.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your authenticity and sharing so much. And really loved talking with you.
What a fun interview, Ben.
It was really cool. All right. Well, thanks again, mate. And we'll talk to you soon.
My pleasure. And thank you for listening. If you're still listening here at the end, and this guy has some big value to provide. So keep listening to Ben's podcast. You'll learn heaps.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.